a world of fun and fantasy, and ever-changing views, and computer terminology. Commodore reviews. Are you keeping up with the Commodore? 'Cause the Commodore is keeping up with you. Are you keeping up with the Commodore? 'Cause the Commodore is keeping up with you.
Hi, I'm Graham. Welcome back to the Commodore Cave. Well, we finally did it. We've cracked 2,000 subscribers at the cave, and for that I thank you very much. This channel is my interest and hobby. There's no subscriptions, there's no paid ads, there's no sponsors, and I make these videos to share my interests with you. But because we're scattered all over the globe, YouTube is now our link, and that's why I make these videos. And we have 10 questions that I'm going to answer now. Watch to the end to see who the 2 prizes go to, and no skipping ahead. We'll start off with a question from 005 Agima. I recognise him. He's a member of the Perth Amiga user group, and he asks, do you secretly have a Sinclair Spectrum cave as well? Not sure about this one, Chris. What's a Sinclair Spectrum? AS, or AS, not sure, asks, if Commodore had never existed, would you be as passionate about computers of a specific brand, and if so, what would they be? I'm sure I'm not the only one who did the jump and abandoned Commodore computers back in the 1990s, when the competition basically caught up and bypassed the amazing Amiga. Industry standards then were pretty much Apple or IBM, and I did the jump to the IBM computers. But I'd actually been interested in IBM before that, because Amiga did have the IBM clones, such as software emulation and the sidecar. And even today, I still have a couple of Commodore IBM computers, which I really do enjoy. Some of that old software is really good fun. So if it wasn't for Commodore, I would have gone down the IBM side of things. So I'd have to say IBM. Gino at Aussie Retro Dude asks, I have a dilemma. I would love a Mega 65 computer, but to fund it, I'd have to sell off a few of my spare retro computers that I have, as I can't see myself needing all of them into the future. And he asks, do I think that would be worth it? Well, Gino, I really resist the idea of giving up any of the computers I have in the cave. But the Mega 65 is a brilliant piece of hardware. I love mine, and it brings Commodore computers right up into the 2020s. I truly hope that it breathes new life into the Commodore retro scene. And I genuinely believe it's got the potential to do that too. So if it was me, yes, I would sell off spare Commodore computers to fund one for sure. D. McKimmy asks, what do you think you've spent altogether on your Commodore computers? I started off in 2012 when I went back in the market and bought my first Amiga 1200. That cost me $300 and something. And since then, it's clocked over 30,000 Australian dollars. That doesn't include the value of the machines that I've traded for repairs. That might seem like a lot of money, but the experts believe the average hobby will cost about the same as an average new car. So on that benchmark, I'm in the sweet spot. And the other side of it too is if I ever do decide to relinquish any of these computers, they've only increased in value. You won't get a Commodore 1200 for $300 today. Brian asks, have you ever done stunt double work for Bruce Willis? Believe it or not, I've actually been asked that many times. In fact, on my recent trip to Italy, I had a group of 4 people come up and ask me for an autograph and a photo. I tried to tell them I wasn't, but they still wanted a photo and an autograph, which I gave them. Shane Potter's question, what drives you to collect old computers when you could still run the software using modern emulation? There are loads of great emulation options available. It's just not the same today with our Windows computers and mobile phones. They're essential, but boring. I can honestly say I've never come across another computer that's ignited my imagination like the Commodore computers do. To me, there's just something magical and creative about the Commodore computers, something that we don't have today. And using them takes me back to a time when that was true. And it's not so different from people who restore old cars. Why? The cars of today are so much more advanced and comfortable and smart. Why bother going back to those old classics? They're not worth the trouble. Maybe they are. And then Playground Inc. asks, what is your 14th favourite computer? My 14th favourite computer, that's the easiest question of the lot. Didn't even need to think about that for a second. It's obviously the computer between my 13th and my 15th favourite computer. Aussie Retro Dude asks, do you buy and sell many computers to get what you want? I have a few of the same Commodores and wonder if I should sell some of these to fund something I don't have, like the Commodore Mega 65. Around 1987, I sold off my beloved Commodore 64 system so that I could buy the brand spanking new brilliant Amiga 1000. In those days, that's just what you did. You had to sell off the old equipment in order to fund the new equipment. Then, around about 1992, I did it again and I sold off that beloved Amiga 1000 system with a sidecar and all the gear that went with it in order to buy my next computing project, which was a 16 shade black and white notebook computer. That IBM notebook was cutting edge industry standard and boring. I don't even know what became of that computer anymore. But after re-entering the Commodore scene about 2012, I've never done that again. And that goes on to part 2 of his question. Have you ever sold anything that you wish you hadn't? I have on some occasions traded a spare model of a computer for repairs, but those trades were always computers that weren't actually running at the time, so they were of little use to me anyway. But if that really bothered me, probably I should go and buy a boat. MGAS1237 asks, I only saw one VIC-20 listed in the scroll of the previous YouTube. Seems like you should have two, the PET keyboard and the latter version. And what about the new keyboard for my retro computer in the UK? That's officially licensed to Commodore as well. I've got to say, I'm really impressed you watched all the way to the credits. The reason there were computers missing from that list is that's a list of computers that I actually have here in the cave. Having said that, I do have both models, one with the PET keyboard as well. I don't have the English keyboard, and to be quite honest, I didn't know anything about it, so I'll do a little bit of research into that one. And also, that list wasn't exhaustive. It just made a nice finish with a Star Wars theme. And if you didn't see that scrolling message, why not? Francis Taylor asks, another YouTuber who shall remain nameless has recently made a YouTube and said that he's going to retire his retro computers to preserve them for prosperity, and instead will use the great emulation that's available now. What do I think of that? Today we've got some wonderful emulation, both hardware and software. The C64 Mini, the C64, the A500 Mini, and then we've got some brilliant emulation such as Amiga Forever and C64 Forever, and so we can use all the software without the hassles of the old technology. Obviously, I understand why people will want to preserve these computers and respecting them for the amazing technology that they are. Commodore computers has such a rich history, software and hardware and peripherals that are available to us now. Why wouldn't we use them? Commodore computers came with a 12-month warranty. I'm pretty sure nobody ever really expected Mini to survive as long as they have now, and who knows how much longer they will go for. But while they're going, I don't see the point in keeping them under glass. I've said many times, the Commodore Cave is not a museum. I don't have it here for show or display or anything else. These computers are designed to work and I'm going to use them. Starlight asks, if I was marooned on an island with a great long extension cord, what would be the one computer I would have with me? If you had to prune all of your Commodores down to just one, which one would it be? And that's a really tough question. The Commodore 64, the Commodore 128, the Amiga 1000, the Amiga 1200, the Amiga 4000, the Amiga 3000. There's so many brilliant computers. How do you choose? And I've thought about this quite a lot, and I don't think there is a perfect answer. But if I had to choose one, it would have to be the Mega 65. You can argue it's not a Commodore, but it is an amazing achievement to revive an 8-bit Commodore and bring it back to life in the 2020s. To me, this computer has so much potential today, and the ability to install different cores on it so that it can actually beat many different computers on real hardware, not emulation. Vault Dweller 001 asks, will you swap your CDTV for my Amiga 4000. I haven't forgot that you want that CDTV, and I am willing to swap. Just not quite sure how you're going to jam a pristine working Commodore 65 prototype inside the case of the A4000. But when you work it out, let me know. Thank you all for your questions. And I'm very pleased to announce the winner of the 2 mugs. The 2000th subscriber goes to Paul Thurlow. Welcome aboard, Paul. Congratulations. And the best question goes to Starlight. The one that I found actually the toughest was what would be the one computer I would want on that island with me. That's a really hard question and a really good one, and something that each of us has to answer ourselves. So to claim your Commodore Cave mugs, just email me your contact details and postal address, and these will be in the post to you very, very shortly. And I hope you enjoy them. Congratulations. Well, that's it for me today from the Commodore Cave. I really do appreciate you watching, and I hope you found these YouTubes interesting. If you did, don't forget to give it a like, or better still, comment, or better still, subscribe, if you haven't already. And I've just returned from Europe, where I brought back another very interesting, very old Commodore computer. So keep an eye out for that video shortly. Till next time, from the Commodore Cave, thanks for watching and see ya. Are you keeping up with the Commodore? 'Cause the Commodore is keeping up with you.